heard that we are all now creating our own personal curriculums.
So you want to be disgustingly well read.
Here's everything that I have on my fall curriculum.
Do you like learning stuff? I do believe that there are many of us that associate school, semesters, tests, quizzes, exams. We do associate those things with bad memories, perhaps. And maybe it's a place we'd like to never return to. Or maybe it's currently a place we're in right now. However, when I think about what kind of person I want to be post-college, I would like to be a lifelong learner. That is where the personal curriculum comes in. Hi, my name is Grace Cotton, this is Curating, and this is my personal curriculum for quarter 4. The personal curriculum is a TikTok trend coined by Elizabeth Jean that has bled its way into other social media, YouTube, Instagram, Pintrest, and thus I have gotten my grubby little hands on it. I want to try it. And there's nothing that I love more than a reason to put together an elaborate list that I probably won't follow, but I'm going to try very hard to follow because now I have submitted it to the internet for review in the form of a YouTube video, and maybe I do need that external pressure to keep track of my goals. So, what is a personal curriculum? Why are you doing it? What is it for? A personal curriculum is a self-made set of quote-unquote classes where you turn the skills and habits you want to build into subjects, complete with homework and final projects. It's a way to gamify growth, making progress feel like school, but on your own terms. I do think that you have to be very intentional with the personal curriculum, because if you're not, you're probably going to set yourself up for failure. For example, myself. I am still a full-time student. I work part-time, and I also run a small social club. Okay, let's check in. I already have a very full life going on. That's on top of all of the regular, normal human things you have to do. We're going to try and keep this easy breezy, beautiful cover girl. For your personal curriculum, the first thing you're going to want to do is identify what you want your subjects to be. In school, these would be things like English, math, science, but we're not doing that. Or maybe you are. I don't know. I do not want my personal curriculum subjects to have any overlap with my school subjects. I don't want to get burnt out on either of these things, and even though I am interested in a lot of the things that I learn at university, I do not want them to overlap because I will have a little bit of a freak out because I already have to do so much homework and projects and tests for those, so we're not gonna do that. Okay, so for me, there's a couple of areas in my life that I feel like I've been neglecting, more just so that other areas of my life have taken priority over this, and that I want to put a little bit more conscious effort into. So for me, those things are my hobbies, specifically making videos, art, Dungeons and Dragons, stuff that I really do enjoy and fills my cup, but maybe I've been neglecting because I felt like I haven't had time. Health and fitness. I feel like this is one that we can all agree is a little bit of a toughie at times, unless you're a health nut. Good on you if you are. Couldn't be me. So we are going to try and find a hobby that I like and try and set a consistent schedule with it related to fitness. And then finally, I would like to find a way to buy some time back for myself. I feel like we are living in a world right now with social media. You constantly have some of your time being sucked away from you, and I hate that. All right, with our brainstorm done, it is time to discuss our classes. Class number 1, Cuts and Transitions 201. This is going to be my class that I'm focused on video editing in both short form and long form content. Currently, I use iMovie to edit my videos, and I've been meaning to get into CapCut. By the end of the year, I'm hoping to treat myself and purchase the Final Cut Pro suite, but in order to do that, I promised myself I would make 10 long form videos by the end of the year. So consider that my A+ reward if I'm able to stick with this. My next class is Storycraft and Strategy 101. This class is going to be all about content generation. So whether that is filming, taking photos, getting myself comfortable with being on camera, as well as taking photos and filming out in public. Partially, this class may be about sharing my final products with the world. As of right now, I don't really post any videos on my Instagram, my personal Instagram, because fear. But part of doing YouTube, part of making these videos is being cringe, and if you are cringe, you are free. So I am going to try and share that more with the world, but also just get myself used to being on camera and taking photos. My next class, having to do with health and fitness, is going to be macros and molecules. This class, its primary goal is to hit my macros every day. Something I struggle with when I am like tracking my intake of food is hitting my macros, specifically my protein.
I can't hit my protein! 60 McChicken nuggets!
So yes, we are going to focus on hitting our carbs, protein, fats, and making sure we are getting all of the necessary nutrients we need in a day. Sidebar of this is also going to be trying to take my vitamins every day. Currently, something that has evaded me for the last year. I'm so bad at doing something daily. My next class is Principles of Pilates. I like the title of this one. So Pilates is something that I've always enjoyed. Every time that I've been able to take a Pilates class, I've really liked it, specifically the Reformer Pilates. However, it is a bazillion dollars to take these classes. I've been able to kind of skirt around this. My university offers drop-in Pilates classes, but there are only 8 spots and you have to register 24 hours before. And it's like trying to get Taylor Swift concert tickets to get into this damn Pilates class. There's 8 spots and like 30,000 people trying to get into the class. So I've only been able to do it twice, and I'm a senior, so we're not going to do that. We'll have to figure out how we're going to do this, and also how much of an investment we're willing to put into it. Okay, and then our last and final class is Concentration and Control Seminar. I know what you're thinking. Grace, you want to make content. How the hell are you going to quit social media? We're gonna figure that out in just a second. But the primary thing is I need to get my screen time down. Recently, I did the math, and if I'm spending 3 hours a day on social media scrolling, I don't even have Instagram and TikTok installed on my phone. And yet, YouTube Shorts has somehow sucked up 2.5 to 3 hours of my time every day. It comes out to like 45, 24-hour days a year. That's too much time. That's time I could be spending doing other things. So it's gotta go. All right, we have our courses. Now it is time to figure out our class schedule. Right now, it is about to be the beginning of October, which means we are about to be in quarter 4, which is great for me. I wanted to do this divvied up into quarters as opposed to semesters. Semesters feel too long for me, months feel too short, but whatever feels right for you. If you want to do like 1 or 2 classes a month, and that way you can have more variety, that is totally something you could do. If you feel like you need a longer amount of time to complete your goals, you could do it in a 6-month period or a semester. You could also do semester and then summer classes, and then because it's hard for anyone to keep their goals during the holiday season, have a wintermester where you only do 1 class. I think that's really fun too. The design of the classes. I've split the parts of the classes up into 3 main categories: homework/assignments, projects, and exams. The homework or assignment portions of the classes are going to be daily or weekly tasks that are repeatable and consistent. For example, for macros and molecules, maybe this looks like tracking my macros every day. This could also be something that doesn't necessarily have to be something that I'm tracking weekly. For the Pilates class, this could look like me needing to do a certain number of workouts per week. The next section of the classes are what I'm calling projects. So projects are going to be something that is either ongoing for a long period of time, or they are going to be things that I have to create and that can be presented, or that can be checked off as like a larger box, but they're not small enough to be homework assignment. For example, because of Pilates being something that I know is very expensive, part of what I want to do is try a week-long cheaper trial. So I think it's $40 for 3 classes within the span of a week. Going to all 3 of those classes and signing up for them and attending, maybe writing some sort of report on it to myself or a journal entry could be a project. The next thing are the exams. And I know what you're thinking. Grace, why the hell would I call something an exam? The anxiety is already running through my veins. My nerves are on end. I feel like I'm dying. I'm going to choke in the swimming pool. Please don't take me back to calculus AB. I will throw up. It's not like that, okay? The exams you have to think of as your magnum opus, as your measurable success for completing this project. I'm thinking for my concentration class, I would like to spend a day, 24 hours, with absolutely no screens. And if I can do it, that is my final exam passed. For you, this might look like doing a run in a certain time frame. It might look like being able to do a certain level of flexibility. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it showcases your skills that you have gained throughout your course. You could do a midterm and a final exam, or you could just do a final exam. In some cases, it might be best to do a benchmark at the beginning when you start this to see where you begin at. Then you can compare to your final exam and see how you've grown. This only works, I think, for some classes, and I definitely think there are going to be some things that coming up with a final exam for will be incredibly difficult. But if you can't do it, I implore you to try. But if you feel like you can't, you can always create some sort of large project that you are working towards and will turn in at the end of the class. Okay, now that we've gone over the guidelines, it is time to create our personal curriculums. If you want to follow along with me, I encourage you to do so. Let's get started. So I have got a fresh, brand new notebook for our personal curriculum. I am so excited. A lot of the personal curriculums I've seen online have been very fancy, very elaborate, but for me, I wanted to focus more on just the assignments, what I wanted to do, keep it very bare bones. So I have some different colored pens here, and we're gonna get started. My first course is Cuts and Transitions 201. I decided to go at this in kind of a bi-weekly format where every 2 weeks I would have homework assignments, occasionally I'd have a project, and then at the end I'd have the final. So for Cuts and Transitions 201, I was thinking assignments like watching tutorials on how to use iMovie or how to use CapCut. Edit a video in CapCut. One of my assignments is to create a video that is cut to the beat of music. For my projects for this class, I was thinking about having a script or storyboard ready for a whole video in under an hour. And then for my final project for this class, I'm going to create a trailer for Gracken Inc., which is my YouTube channel. For my next class, it is Story, Craft, and Strategy 101. This class, I'm going to really be focused on making sure that I'm comfortable in front of the camera and working on actually creating content and photos and videos. You do see here that I realized I messed up for the first week, so that first week is only going to be a week long as opposed to the other 2-week blocks. For my assignments for this class, I did stuff like post on my Instagram story, do an Inktober related post. And for my projects for this class, I just have a YouTube video due every month. So I have one video for October, one for November, and one for December. And then my final is going to be to go live on YouTube or Twitch. Really get myself used to being on camera, improvising, and speaking for long periods of time in an interesting way. My next class is macros and molecules. This one is formatted a little bit differently. I have the same daily homework This class is formatted a little bit differently. I have the same daily homework of logging my macros, taking my vitamins, and logging my stress. The goal of this class is to see if there is any correlation between my stress levels and eating enough food as well as taking my vitamins. My 3 projects are 3 days straight of hitting my protein, 7 days straight of hitting my protein, and a whole month of no missing my vitamins. And then my final is to compile all of that data and see if there are any trends that I notice. My next class, Principles of Pilates, follows a very similar format where my homework is to do 3 Pilates workouts a week, whether that's at home or at a studio, 5 minutes of stretching every day. And then my projects are to have a trial period on a Pilates studio and analyze the pros and cons, what I like and what I don't like. I want to be able to hold a 2-minute plank, and I want to invite a friend to do Pilates with me. And then my final is to design and execute my own Pilates routine or workout, about 20 minutes long. My last and final class is Concentration and Control Seminar. This class is the one that I think, if I'm able to successfully pull it off, will make the most difference in my life. We go back to that similar format that we had for the first 2 classes. I want to track my screen time baseline, and then throughout the next couple of weeks, I want to do things like study for an hour with no distractions, try grayscale on my phone for a day, go for a walk with no music. My projects are things like create a schedule for screen time, document screen time reduction, and my final is to go 24 hours with no screens at all. So even though this is pretty bare bones, I might put together a cuter looking syllabus for myself in the future, but I think it's better to just get started with something rather than have it be perfect before you decide to begin. So just remember, if you want to make it pretty later, you can always go back. Awesome. Well, that's it. Let's get started. Okay, that just about wraps it up. The last thing I'll say is I would encourage you to come up with some sort of system of accountability for yourself, whether that just be telling a friend or family member what you're doing, or creating a video like this of your own, or sharing your personal curriculum on social media with a coworker, with a friend. There are so many ways that you can share this and encourage other people to do the same. If you'd like, drop your curriculum in the comments below and then come back as soon as your course is over and check in with yourself, see how you did. Check out what the other people in the comments, see how they did. If you like this video, please give it a like, subscribe if you want more, and I will check in with you soon. Have a great rest of your day. Bye!